Hello, everyone. Today I'll be talking about the effect of seasons on the consumer behavior. So, I've always wondered whether the seasons and weather have any sort of effect on our purchasing decisions. Do we buy more? Do we go for more shopping in the summer or in the winter or in the spring? How does it differ? So, there's this research paper that was talking about the effect of the weather on us in terms of psychology and in terms of atmosphere in general. They had conducted three studies discussing this thoroughly. Also, they had their conclusions and facts that they found out based on research of more than 6 years. So, the very first fact is that the negative impact of the weather or the negative weather impact on people has way more effect than the positive impact. So they've discovered that the most significant pillar of different dimensions of weather is the sunlight. And this is the thing that affects people the most, where they said that the sunlight exposure releases serotonin, which is the happy hormone inside our brains. And this boosts the mood of people and makes them pay more or be willing to pay more for products that usually they wouldn't pay the same amount of money. That's a thing. Another thing is it gives them more willingness to stay in retail shops more, to buy more products, and all this stuff. So they found out that it's very, very correlated to the mood of the person. And usually, bad weather is put people in a bad mood. Like, people don't really want to go out when it's bad weather, when there are storms or rains. So, this is one of the things that dramatically affects the purchasing power of people or them making any kind of decisions related to purchases. They also conducted three studies. One of them was making a trial where people were paid money for a month to log in a form of a survey online, how their mood was throughout the day and what were their purchases. And they were mostly monitoring stuff that are more of beverages like coffee and tea. And they found out that the coffee is one of the goods that didn't differ with the weather at all. It didn't have any significance, whether it was hotter or colder weather. Meanwhile, tea was a little bit more correlated to the mood. Like, when people are in a bad mood, they actually tend to go for more tea as the same cup of tea. So that was another thing they discovered. Obviously, there are the goods that are related to seasons. This is something that is a fact. They cannot change it. Like, people abroad, they buy snow shovels and equipment to help them with cleaning the snow and all these stuff. They're definitely increase their sales volume and value in the winter versus swimwear, gardening tools, and all these stuff. There are more purchased spring and summer, but these were like the normal findings of anything like anyone would find out that this makes sense. But the thing that was a little bit more um, to be assessed was how the atmosphere also of the place alongside with the temperature affected the decisions of customers or consumers. So they had two replicas of IKEA. One of them was called the pleasurable kind of one, or the one with the pleasing kind of environment. They had really nice decorations with nice music and nice mood. The atmosphere itself was the temperature was really nice, and the other one, it was a little bit less in the decorations, and its weather wasn't the optimum. They found out that the people in the other one, which was the perfect kind of conditions in terms of weather and atmosphere, they had more purchases, especially at stuff that people don't usually buy. So people, when they are in a really nice mood, they just go for a shopping spree. In conclusion, other factors were that people when they have negative moods, yes, they affect their shopping, but not as much as the effect of the positive one. So this was another finding. They said that it's totally related to psychology, and it's totally related to how people process their decision decisions regarding purchases. But what was really interesting was that people actually use this kind of aspect, which is the weather and how it affects everything in terms of finances and in terms of psychology, but they actually neglect it in the marketing part. And this research was talking a lot about the fact that we really need to consider this and put into consideration this in terms of our sales peaks and when to decide that there will be better sales now or not. And actually, one of the big retail shops is using this as an indicator to their sales, which is Walmart. And this was actually interesting. It was one of the very, very few places that actually puts into consideration the weather kind of factor to determine their sales targets and to determine whether there will be enough purchases or not. They actually did another study which was talking, which was they give people the same kind of purchases choices in terms of airplane tickets, newspapers, other stuff that are varying from price ranges, and the control was that some of them were in a place where they had um, artificial sunlight, and they were assessing whether the artificial sunlight would give the same mood or not. And the other group were not having any kind of sunlight, and they actually found out that the people with the sunlight, they actually went for more purchases, and they went for more and more risky kind of impulse buyings. Another trial was conducted to assess whether the sunlight in general has the same effect regardless of the temperature or not. And they actually found out that the sunlight when the temperature is lower is way more effective than the sunlight when the temperature is high. So actually, people who are in a nice weather, relatively cold, but having really nice sunlight, they're more enthusiastic and they're more eager to buy, rather than the people who actually have no, they have really hot climate and yet they have sunlight, then now they're not in the same mood for shopping spree. So in conclusion, putting into consideration the weather conditions is something really important, and based on the research, people should really take into consideration this, especially when they are designing some showrooms or places like that, and they can actually put more sales and based a lot of strategies, marketing strategies based on the seasonality with the weather, taking into consideration winter and spring, summer, everything, so that they can target the right customers, and based on the consumer behavior in correlation with weather, they can really benefit from it. Thank you.